Podcast. And once again, I'm your host, Maurice coming to you on July the 5th, a day after Independence Day. Hopefully you enjoyed your day off if you have, and you got some grilled food. I did a little something special on my grill. Won't get too specific, but I was pleased with the outcome of what I cooked. But I'm back at it. Like I said, this is the All Basketball Podcast and another edition of Just My Thoughts. Sorry I missed out on getting you guys the NBA Finals recap. Time just got away from me. So didn't get officially get that in. So you guys are probably looking for that, but just wasn't able to put it together this time. But quick thoughts on that. Denver won the series 4-1 over Miami. I thought it would go 6. They ended in 5. I mean, Jokic and Murray they were just amazing. Just the best two players out there for most of the series. Bruce Brown made an impact. Christian Braun had a couple of big plays one game. Porter Jr. was off, and Aaron Gordon played good defense, finished strong, exploited matchups whenever Miami decided to switch with, like, say, a Gabe Vincent. Just him and Jokic just like, oh, I'm taking you down low. I'm not bailing out your defense. Getting the series went. A lot of people did on the finals preview show. Everybody pretty much had Denver winning. Mike came pretty close to getting a sweep. I said 6. I can't remember what James and Lawrence, I think they both said 6 as well. But it went as expected. Denver first championship in franchise history. Congratulations to that organization and all those involved. And they were the most consistent team, the healthiest team throughout most of the season. Stayed top of the West standings and during most of the season, and they just they proved it. Only lost 4 games. 1 to Minnesota, 2 to and the trophy, and to add his collection of 2 regular season MVPs. So good for those guys. It's good for a fan of that duo, and we'll see what they have in store for the upcoming season as we've hit free agency, and they're probably not making, the other teams are making moves to just match up with them the best they can, especially those in the West, whether that's getting bigger or getting more offense or better defense. Teams are making moves. They're not just going to let Denver dominate if they can help it. So, but now we're in the off season and free agency is upon us, as well as summer league. You also had to speak quickly about the draft. When is expected? Yama went 1. They didn't know it kept going back and forth between who would go to Charlotte, whether it be Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller. So it ended up being Miller. Henderson went to Portland. And then round out the top 5, you had those Amen and Ansor, if I'm pronouncing it right, the Thompson twins, going to not going to grade anybody on the draft. I feel like the draft is more of a instead of a preview type of thing, is more of a something you recap or look back on. You can look back on some great drafts like the 96 draft, 2003 draft, the 1984 draft, and then you can look upon some bad drafts like the 2014. Who was that with the the Anthony Bennett draft? 2015 wasn't too great. I mean, it's really a crapshoot. Even though you have guys come out and in the lottery is just you're just hoping that high pick is they don't so, and we won't even know honestly after this year really. Maybe some guys how good this draft was. It usually takes a couple of years to look back on and see who's thriving in the league, who's still in the league. I mean, guys like drafted like Anthony Bennett or say Tyreek Evans, a lottery pick before Steph Curry, Johnny Flynn. Those guys aren't even in the league, and so it'd be something you look back on and you'll hear people talk about redrafting, and that'll make a little more sense. But you obviously have to give it some time, just like you have to give guys who were drafted last year. Bankero was great coming out. Holmgren was hurt. Jabari Smith still needs to put in work from that draft. So we'll have to see how these guys' careers pan out, because it's you have to take a draft every year, and I think the Spurs probably hit on the pick with Wembanyama. I mean, you really couldn't trade it away or not pick him. I mean, dude being almost 7'4", skinny as a rail, but can shoot it from deep. Some skills, because this is the top of the food chain, the best of the best, and he's gonna have to prove it. Guys are gonna be trying to dunk on him and make him look bad and all of that. He's gonna have to return it on the other end when he gets the ball, but we'll see how he pans out with the Spurs. I mean, has a great coach in Popovich. Popovich has dealt with they have a great lineage of big men to look back upon, with Tim Duncan. Other guys he may know because of where he's from in France, as far as Tony Parker, Boris Diaw. Also have the other international player, Ginobili. All those get together, and Wembanyama was towering everybody. Obviously, it looked crazy. We're gonna see how it plays out. He's got a summer league game. They said he's going to be in, I think, Friday at the summer league in Vegas. So many more eyes will be on him to see how he looks. Personally, I think it's going to be kind of awkward watching him play basketball, but we'll see. I mean, I've seen highlights, and he's has some nice moves, but yeah, I just think it may look kind of funny, but maybe I'll come around. I mean, but you just hope that at that height, I'm just skeptical about the health. I know he doesn't have really an injury history, but when you look back on the history of the league, they're saying this is Ralph Sampson with skills of a guard or a wing player, had injury issues. Yao Ming was 7'6", a little taller. He had injury issues, and a lot of guys did. I mean, that tall even. I mean, Shaq was blessed to have health, but You go back to Bill Wall. I mean, Abdul-Jabbar had pretty good health, had a injury in that, was that 1980 NBA Finals when Magic was a rookie. But other than that, he was pretty much healthy. Wilt Chamberlain, pretty much healthy. But I mean, this guy's definitely something new, something we haven't seen, kind of like a Durant, just somebody that long on the wing. Good amount of athleticism, but I think the Spurs hit on the pick. We just gotta hope he stays healthy in this era of constant injuries, not just the big guys, but it seems like everybody and all the load management going on. But hopefully the CBA's corrected that with now the guys can only allowed to miss 17 games. You have to play at least 65 games to get on. Limit of games so they can up with as far as so they can get all the benefits and incentives they would like. But if that was a draft, we'll see a few college guys I recognize did get drafted later second round, but you're just gonna see who's gonna rise to the top. I mean, it's most times it's really a crapshoot. I think we'll see how Miller does in Charlotte alongside LaMelo Ball and Scoot Henderson when Portland gets everything figured out with Dame. I think Scoot Henderson's gonna be an explosive player. Him and Shaedon Sharpe, if they both stand in uniform together. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe had some nasty dunks last season as a rookie, and I mean, I think definitely probably a rebuild on the way, because obviously the Dame Lillard made his trade request not too long ago and said he wants to go to Miami or Brooklyn, and it seems like teams are having some time trying to work it out as far as the specifics. Miami doesn't have enough. Portland, I've heard Portland is interested in getting back Hero, Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, some combination of that, or whoever else. Miami doesn't want to give up Butler and they don't want to give up Bam, and they say Dame and Bam are pretty cool. And they made I'm hearing they need another team, so we'll see if another team pops in to help the organization get Dame to where he wants to go. Now, the organization has to eventually do what's best for them. I mean, they're going to go, start rebuild. So, and it's a business. Yeah, Dame has been loyal, but now I do like the fact that they're trying to do good by him by his loyalty, because he never was one to press or complain or make noise and adamantly put in a trade request. He said he wanted to win in Portland, win a championship. Probably wanted to stay there his whole career, be one of those few guys who stick with the franchise the whole tenure. But it looks like now that may not happen, and Portland isn't a free agent destination. So we'll see if the management can get him needed to fulfill his request. But yeah, I mean, I was cool with Dame staying there. Now I know he said he did want to win a championship, so that makes it when people. But I was really bothered by so many people in the media and maybe opposing fans, definitely, and opposing fans who probably wanted Dame to join their team, which I can understand. And do with where he wanted to be. I'm trying to, with all the peer pressure to go to this team, go to that team, go stack the deck over here. You He doesn't seem like he wants to be that type of guy. He wants to do it in Portland. I mean, he wants to be loyal to those who were loyal to him. Coming out of Weber State, nobody knew he was going to be who he was going to be. I mean, he was, I forgot which pick he was in the draft, but I think he was, pretty sure he was lottery, but he wasn't number one overall. 13th draft, I think, but he wanted to stay loyal. Didn't want to go to a stacked team in this era of teams stacking the deck, which LeBron started and Durant continued, and just made Durant kind of honestly made it kind of bad for the NBA when he went to Golden State. Yeah. But it's just, I mean, that stack of the deck stuff, hopefully that's somewhat over and done with, even though Phoenix has kind of stacked their deck, and I'll get to that in a second with the trade they made. But yeah, it was just like, but I mean, props to, I know Rob Parker, he was saying on the Odd Couple that if a guy wants to stay with your organization, I mean, you should roll with that. You should be good with that, even though you do have to rebuild and look towards the future. But if a good player wants to stay, I mean, it makes sense financially. It gives your fan base hope. Then ride with the guy. But even though he didn't have a no trade clause, and they could just be cutthroat, just could have just traded him like, well, we just don't. Hey man, we don't owe you anything. We paid you well. But yeah, just, I mean, all that, I guess maybe you call it groupthink, or just that pressure to go here, go there, and follow the crowd is I mean, take the wide path and not stay on the narrow path. I didn't necessarily like how everybody was trying to push Dame to another team when he wanted to do it in Portland. Now, but if you want a championship, then you can't have it both ways. But I know saying I want to win a championship is the best thing to say. You want to say, well, by playing here, by staying here, okay, I'm okay with not winning. But maybe he really believed with the right transactions, draft picks, they could win. But it just seems like the timeline isn't lining up right now. Let's see. Now, if he stays around and they hit on those picks, I mean, he can be an older guy and get that championship. But he said he wanted out because it's probably unlikely he's not going to win. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody doesn't win, and nobody expected him to win one. So it's not such a bad thing. He doesn't. Need to see a championship. We need to see you in the finals, but he's never won an MVP, so probably been the running and the best and the furthest he's been is the West Finals, and that was I'll continue to always say it, that was a fluke year when the standings helped them, because Golden State and Houston met the second round. That should have been your West Finals matchup, but it had them playing in the second round and Portland playing, I think that was Denver, when Jokic was young, and then they were in the West Finals and they got swept, and Golden State didn't even have Durant. Yeah, that was 2019, so it was the standings helped them, but maybe gave them a false sense of reality. But at least it did make it seem Miami will play. We'll see if that happens. Now, I do think him going to Philly would be a good move too. I mean, they get small game James Harden out there, and insert Dame. You don't have to worry about the up and down play, clutch player. Pretty much going to be they're the pair up with Embiid. I mean, get Embiid past that second round hump. He's currently stuck at, and it'll be about as equal. I mean, yeah, it won't be for the team that drafted you, but it'll be you won't be in a stacked situation. So maybe he'll open up to Philly, but Miami would be good too with him, Bam, and Butler. Be a nice 1, 2, 3 punch. I would say. I mean, him and Butler on the perimeter. I mean, fitting into what Miami does and help push them over the edge. I mean, because as the finals kind of showed, Miami got on a crazy run this year and some things broke their way, but I don't see them. They need another player. I mean, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, it's likely not enough. I mean, once you meet the teams in the West, I mean, they did it in the 2020 bubble, and yeah, they got 2 games off the Lakers, but you're going to need a little more. And Tyler Hero was hurt, but I don't know if they'd be able to keep Hero with adding, but that'd be a nice punch as far as the offense. And you have Butler go off when he needs to, but not be expected to because he's not Jimmy Butler's kind of a weird player. I mean, very good player. Probably will get in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how his All-Star appearances are looking, but and what numbers he has, but does a bit of everything pretty good, but nothing great. Not very shooter. I mean, he's good at suckering the people to base and getting fouled. Plays strong and he plays hard, but it's nothing really special. So when he doesn't have those great games like he had against maybe Milwaukee or Boston or something like that, when he's lighted it up, or that triple double in the finals against the Lakers, I mean, sometimes he's going to give you that. Yeah, he's going to give you more in the playoffs, but majority of the time he's just going to give you pretty good. And to win championships, you got to be great, and he's not a great player, a very good player, and he just hasn't. I wouldn't consider him. Yeah, just a very good player, but not a great player or a greatly skilled player. Done. It would be good look for Miami if they can acquire Dame, and he'll be happy, and maybe they can make a run back to the finals and maybe get over that hump, or definitely make a run back to a long run than the Eastern Conference. Another shocker basically was the Bradley Beal going to Phoenix. Now you got a version of BBD, Booker, Beal, and Durant in Phoenix. I mean, man, Durant just wants to keep stacking that deck. I mean, I guess he's just going to continue to follow that model, but he's going to be, I think, 35 this season. So I think they're going to need a lot out of Booker and Beal. I'm starting to see some decline with Durant. I mean, getting more shots blocked. I mean, he did have come off a bunch of injuries. He missed that whole 1920 season, and then got injured again. Just been injured a lot. Hadn't played a lot of games when he was in Brooklyn, and then missed his best chance with the toe on the line. And against Milwaukee, and he couldn't close him out. And so they got a lot of offense, and they've I was looking, they shored up their by definitely have a 1-2 punch. Going to depend on health with these. Like I said, Durant's missed a bunch. He left those in a good amount of games when he was with the Nets, and then he only played in games or season before the deadline last year. I think he played 8 games for the playoffs, and then Bill is constantly in and out of the lineup for Washington. But they're just pretty much going to be hoping to be healthy, and Durant is getting older, so the chance of him continuing to be hurt are likely. So Bill Booker just going to really need to carry that team, and Durant maybe do it in spurts, or maybe this is probably his final push to be the number one guy on that team, or at least 1A behind Booker. They have a lot of offense. They end up trading Chris Paul in that 3-team deal, so to Washington. Then he was traded from Washington to Golden State, which is surprising. So they got to figure out who's going to play point guard, or how they're going to play their offense. I mean, or how the offense is going to run. But obviously, just a screen and roll era of the NBA. So I mean, just pretty much doing that and exploit mismatches to trying to get a switch, and then kick it at the open guys. So I mean, maybe Booker will be the initiator of the offense more, maybe Bill some too, all three of them. But I don't know if Cameron Payne's going to be the starting point guard, but last I checked, I know he was on the roster. I don't know how much you want to depend on, or by fifth, I don't see anything as far as them signing another official point guard. So they're or maybe they're just gonna go outside the lines and put pressure on defenses with that potent trio. But it's gonna come down to stops. It's gonna come down to being big enough. Then also a matter of that, are they likely going to keep Ayton? I think they are. I mean, they fired Monty Williams, brought in Frank Vogel, and maybe Ayton. You know, Williams, it showed, it was obvious on the sidelines where they weren't getting along, and once they had that one disagreement, then Ayton just wasn't too sour, so he wasn't giving max effort. So maybe with the three guys, with the addition of Bill and a new coach, a new owner, showing faith in him that they're not going to trade him, or he doesn't have issues with anyone on the sidelines as far as a coach or teammates, then they're going to need him, because Denver's still big, the Lakers are still big, the Clippers should be there with help, and you need some size. Golden State's still out there too, and Memphis has a good amount of size too. So yeah, so we got him. We'll see if these three guys play more than Durant, Harden, and Kyrie did together, because I mean, when that trio came together, they were dangerous, but couldn't stay healthy. And then Harden said, I want out. And Kyrie wasn't up to playing all the time, and it was just an epic failure in Brooklyn. So we'll see how this one turns out for Durant, because it's like, man, he can't get back to where it was before Golden State, and then after Golden State, he can't get back to the finals of close, has been able to get to us. His body just hasn't been able to hold up, and that's going to be a major concern for them. Excuse me. Like I said, the other part of that trade was Chris Paul eventually ended up in Golden State. I guess he's going to be the backup. I mean, he's 38, 39 years old, pretty much around LeBron's age. They're two of the oldest guys in the league. Always gets hurt at the worst times. I think this is just another episode of Chris Paul being a day late and a dollar short again for as far as getting to. I mean, he got close to the finals with Phoenix, but getting to a good situation. And I mean, he had the Rockets, they had Golden State on the ropes, but he got hurt. And now he's with Golden State, and they're still small. Klay Thompson is declining. Draymond's old also. And it's still pretty. I mean, I know I haven't looked over the roster, but as of July 5th, I haven't seen any signs of anybody tall. I know Draymond re-signed, and they traded Poole to get Paul, and so they don't have that that issue of Poole and Draymond being in the same locker room after Draymond sucker punched him. And they admitted, Steve Kerr admitted that situation fractured the locker room, and it was evident. I mean, definitely with their road record of only 11 wins. Like I thought, it became a issue in the playoffs. I mean, they got through a round. They had to fight and claw to get past Golden State in 7 games, 1 game, 7 on the road, but Curry put up 50. But the next round, I mean, didn't win a game in LA. Size was an issue. Curry getting torched by Lonnie Walker. Then they had the chance. I mean, Curry threw the ball away. They said he threw it over his head like he was tossing a bouquet. He got it on that jump ball. They didn't call a timeout and give him a chance to either tie or win that game. So we'll see how Golden State goes forward, but they're sticking with their trio. Got a new GM, Mike Dunleavy Jr. And still don't have much size, but they got help out with bench play as long as he's healthy, I think. And maybe to close lineups, but I mean, it's definitely coming to an end for Golden State. And I didn't think it was wise for them to pay Draymond, but that much. But he's earned his money, and they want to keep the core together, so they're gonna have to go forward with that core. And as far as free agency, everybody pretty much stayed put. The bigger names, like I just said, Draymond, Chris Middleton went back to Milwaukee. Kyrie stayed with Dallas. Yeah, some guys move around, second tier guys, or like Van Vliet went to Houston. Some other moves, but nothing really huge. But Bruce Brown is a big part of what helping Denver win that title. And it could end up being better next. And you had I think the Celtics made a good move by getting Porzingis. They had to send Smart away though. sent Smart to Memphis, and then Washington got Tyus Jones, so he'll probably be starting there alongside Jordan Poole. Nice backcourt. We'll see how Poole rebounds, whether he's worth the money. But I expect a good amount of losing by the Wizards next year. But I heard Porzingis, he was in the games against Boston, he was putting up numbers. So front office at Steve and company, they said that we probably can use it with Horford being much older and not being able to hit a shot pretty much against Miami. Shot terribly in that series. And have some insurance behind Robert Williams. He's constantly hurt. Porzingis is an injury risk also, but for a time he was putting up buckets for the Wizards last year, and still pretty young. I think just 27. And maybe he can be that piece to help push him over the edge with Tatum and Brown, and they get Brogdon healthy, or they can make a trade. Or Jaylen Brown, you still haven't seen. He's eligible extension for a lot of money. I think almost $300 million, and hasn't been signed yet. I know his name's been in trade rumors, so he can be moved. I mean, well, they're saying they're, as probably a lot of teams are, they're interested in trying to get Dame too, but the Celtics would work his list, but now they have the piece to trade for. They're gonna split Brown and Tatum up. Dame can be that piece, and he can help them get over the edge and definitely solve out of their point guard issues. But yeah, so like I said, Smart's in Memphis. Hopefully can help him, and Derrick Rose can help Ja Morant get on the straight and narrow, stop flat guns on social media. And then Smart probably be starting those, and Rose be playing too, probably those, because Ja's out suspended for 25 games. I thought he'd get at least that, if not half the season. But he finally stopped, cut out the bad behavior and questionable decisions. So maybe they can provide some wisdom to Ja, and he get it going and not blow this great opportunity he has to be to make a lot of money, change the direction of his family, and take advantage of the privilege of playing in the NBA, because it is that, a privilege. I mean, a lot of people go out and put in a lot of sweat and everything, put up an enormous amount of shots to reach that level, and it's so hard. I mean, you don't want to take it for granted. You're playing in the NBA as it is a privilege. I mean, Charles Barkley would say, this dumb basketball made me a lot of money. Just making dumb game of basketball, honestly. Maybe not a dumb game, but just, and you get to play and you're blessed to make millions. So you don't want to squander that. And the same thing goes for Zion. I mean, got to make better decisions. I mean, I know he has a child on the way, and maybe another one right behind it, maybe two, with this adult film star who's just trying to pretty much drag his name in the mud, of pretty much trying to blackmail him, but he didn't handle it well. I know he's young, these women are older, they are out there trying to catch you slipping. And I'm not gonna say it's a slip up, but he he didn't handle it well, and now he has to deal with those consequences. And if he has two children on the way, and unfortunately two children from women with not the best character or mental makeup, I wish him the best. Because you have to deal with that for a while, 18 years or longer. Because that child's more than likely going to be with that woman. You don't want to be spreading your seed all over, just having children everywhere, and you can't get the birthdays, and they're not together, and father's not in the house. I mean, it's just not a good look for the family dynamic. And so all I gotta say for him is get it together. I mean, it's time to show up and show out. I mean, hopefully stay healthy and earn this money you've been given, and before you know it, it'll be time for a new contract. And so, I mean, find some focus or with that organization and help them win, show your value, show why they made the right decision to pick you first in the 2019 draft. I mean, you and Morant went right behind you. He hasn't been hurt, but he wants to act the fool too. Two South Carolina cats. I'm from North Carolina, and two cats from South Carolina just not having the best luck at the moment, but get it together, young men. But yeah, it's not a lot of people paid by Houston, but they did get some veterans in there. Also got Jeff Green in there. Maybe Brooks will look at more game tape and get that shot together, realize when the shot's not going, you don't have to, or take a couple of steps in. I mean, and don't skip out talking to the media. I mean, you can't talk big when things are going well, then skip out in the media and then you're saying crazy stuff. I mean, you're talking, I mean, you have to still want to show some respect to a great player like LeBron, and you didn't at certain points, and then you look really bad and you didn't help Memphis. I mean, they were already one of the worst shooting teams, and you made it worse by just continuing to chuck up shots. And they were giving you those shots for a reason. I mean, take a step in, but got another contract. I know it was a 480, so 20 acres. Was kind of that, but agent worked a good deal. Houston really won. They may have some things going there with new coach Ime Udoka returned to the sidelines and a young athletic talent, but they're gonna have to figure out how to get it together and play better to not be so bad and stay in the lottery. I mean, after a certain amount of time, you want to get out of the lottery because most of the picks don't pan out. So it was, I mean, a lot of cats cashed out. Good for them. They don't have too many gripes for them. I mean, it is wild to see who's getting big extensions when Bane and Melo Ball. Bane probably being, I mean, they hit on that pick. Nobody knew he was going to be what he was, but really good three-point shooter. Got better at handling the ball and penetrating, attacking the lane. So he's just not just a three-point shooter, but maybe the safest bet, Memphis. I mean, they paid him a lot. I think it was set. Hope they end up playing up to their potential and up to those contracts, because that's the first thing people look at when he's shooting it well. Then we got Harden opted in and requested a trade. So if I was a GM, I wouldn't go nowhere near small game James at this point in his career, unless he was my third option. Second option, not going to be able to do it. I mean, he showed you who he is. I mean, guys are really high on him, but if the three ball's not working and the foul baiting and he's not as explosive going in the lane anymore, and what does he really give you? He's not giving anything. Move without the ball. Wouldn't go anywhere near him unless he was the third option. Too many small moments in big games. Yeah, he had a couple of outstanding games against Boston and East Simmons last year, but game 6 and 7, nowhere to be found. Especially when they could have obviously closed out game 6, then you have a game 7, nothing left. Wouldn't go anywhere near him unless he's my third option. And I'll leave it at that. And yeah, so I've been a pretty somewhat in more so with the trade off season, free agency. To a lot of I stayed. You got John Collins now in Utah. Atlanta got all that contract a lot of people were complaining about. Shout out to you, Hancock. Cleveland may have helped their shooting with adding Niang and Max Strus. The Mavs get Seth Curry back. Dante Exum returns to the NBA. High pick, got injured a lot. Definitely looking like a bust. We'll see if he comes back and plays. And just a couple of really other complementary pieces moving around. I like Toppin joining Indiana, maybe get a start position. Then we'll see where Harden and Westbrook went back to the Clip. Ended up having a pretty good run there for those guys late in the season. But they have so many injuries. Even before Stephen A. said it, when Kawhi Leonard got hurt, I posed a question in the barbershop. Same question. I think, do you think Kawhi Leonard should retire? And he's load managing. That's not helping. He's trying to cheat the system, so to speak, but body isn't holding up. All the taking off games and load managing isn't working. You're still getting hurt in the playoffs. Wild. Now he got those 2 championships, but maybe saying he should retire is definitely extreme. And I know he wants to get all his money, but may have to take more of a secondary role, or maybe you have to come off the bench. I don't know. He's just getting hurt at the most inopportune times for that team, and Paul George is usually hurt, so he was a little more healthier, but they just can't stay healthy. But it's just wild. But I know he's not going to retire, but it's after you get hurt so many times, it's something you kind of have to start considering, especially when you just all that surgery and all that time on the operating table. It's just not good. It's not natural. But so we'll have to see where the game gets moved. There's another surprising trade out there. If Harden gets moved, or anything of the like, and see who's able to stay healthy, see who's looking somewhat impressive in summer league, which you really can't put too much stock into, but good chance for people to see some of these young guys, especially those guys who playing like overtime elite, or definitely Scoot Henderson, who played with the G League Ignite. It's kind of like they go away for a season and you don't see them because it's either not at the right time or they're not in college. At least with college basketball, I mean, I know some of the best players weren't there, but if you're on the right team, Kentucky, Carolina, Kansas, UCLA, who I'm missing this. Mainly one of those four and a few others. You get the time. We will see ESPN and CBS at certain points. So, but yeah, so it'd be a good time to see some of those guys and see what else happens before the NBA offseason gets real quiet. And oh yeah, and Ben Simmons just chill out with the showing us you working out videos and all this. I seen it's a picture going around of like the triangle. Like, okay, we're at this point with Ben Simmons where he's working out. In the season to come, he won't shoot, and then he's injured. And he's this vicious cycle. So now we're at the point where I'm gonna show y'all I'm working out. Give me those likes so I can. Yeah. Against Atlanta, but just go away, don't do anything. Season starts, preseason, show us then. Don't chill out with all the off-season stuff. It's not, because we've seen it before. We've seen this story before. We know how it ends, and it's nothing impressive. Yeah, and if you guys haven't, check out coveringthegame.com right here on the bottom of the screen. Wrote a story on Ben Simmons. Feel like it's one of my best. I think I mentioned it in the last episode, but I think we've seen the best of him and the worst. I mean, it's been a good run. He's just going to be an overpaid role player, but maybe this season he'll come back, break through whatever mental hurdle, cross whatever he's dealing with, and return to the player he was projected to be when he was drafted #1 overall. But yeah, but that's my time. Glad to catch up with you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. You can find the All Basketball Podcast on YouTube, Apple, Google. Checking me out on Spotify, listening would really help. As these platforms have got more specific on how they want to do advertising and where they want you to listen now, because it's money in that now. Specifying the format, the platform you listen from. But my peace, blessed in Jesus' name.